In this video, we will dive into something specific that might be holding you back in achieving your goal. You see, when you set a goal, you have the ambition, you have the motivation to achieve something, you have all the energy, and you know it is good for you, it is important for you, that's why you set a goal. But you see, in the process, something holds you back, and those are most of the time emotions. They are not that you don't have the strength, or that you're not smart enough, or that you don't have the intelligence to achieve the goal, but it is all about the emotion that you feel that makes you give up on the goals. Now, in this video, we will dive into the different sort of emotions that arise in the process of our goal setting, and then why those emotions arise and how you can overcome them. This video is just a specific video in the following of the last video I did on the human system. In the case that you haven't to watch that video, I highly recommend that you watch it. It's pretty simple, and I explain in that video the main components of the life that govern our life. So in case you haven't watched that, I will put the link in the description, or it will show up somewhere in the screen, so that you can click and watch that video first, and then after understanding it, you can understand this video and apply it in your life to see an amazing transformation and a great results. So, as I was saying, when we set goals, we face different sort of emotions. Initially, when we are motivated setting a goal, we are acting out of emotion, which is the motivation and the inspiration that give us the firm decision to make the goal that we want to set. Then down the road, when things get tough and when things get hard, we get different kind of emotion, and then we might give up, or we might feel more lazy into doing what we set out to be doing initially. Now, I'm not here to elaborate on each specific emotion, but let's take a look at the global picture of everything, and that is what we are going to do now in just a second. First, I want to classify something really important into understanding this video. In our life, we are directed, or we are motivated by different stuffs, and whatever you do, you might find yourself operating under different category in our human system. And that's why I recommend first you watching that first video on the human system, so that you can understand what we are talking about in this specific video. But in case you haven't watched it yet and you feel that you need to watch it, don't worry. After watching this video, you can go back to it and you can watch it. Now, at the end of that video, I started explaining the principle of the set of action that happen after we have a desire, and those are: we have the intention, we have then the expectation, and we have the outcome, and then we have what? We have emotions. Now, don't worry if you don't understand what I'm talking about. I will explain them now in a second. First, before intention, we have the desire. And you are somewhere here. I'm not good at drawing, but I will try to make you beautiful. Alright, so this is you. Alright, with your beautiful hands, pretty face. Pretty is enough. I'm trying to draw it good. So we have this scheme here. Now, you know, when you want something, when you set a goal, you want to make money, there is a desire in you that want you to be successful, or that want you to provide for your family, or that wants you to buy a certain thing, or to live a certain lifestyle that makes you want money. And that desire creates what we call intention. That intention is what makes you take actions. look at this. It's really simple, and you need to understand this in order to understand whatever is happening in your life, or why do you feel lazy, or why do you feel like you can never achieve anything out of your life. Because this diagram here is really important in order to figure out how to debug important aspects of our life. So as we have a desire, we have the intention. That intention drive us in setting some sort of action. Like for example, you have the desire to have a relationship with a woman or with a man or whatever you happen to like to date, and then that desire in you, wanting you to be in a relationship, let you have the intention to go out on a date. You start going out on dates, you start seeing different people. Maybe you are seeing the partner that you want or the friend that you want to date, and then you start planning things out. That is the desire leading to the intention. Now you might not go out yet, but you intend to go out, but that intention is coming from the desire, right? I hope you understand that point. Now when you are setting or when you are having an intention, automatically you are having an expectation. You are already imagining in your mind what the date might look like, or what the guy might be wearing, how he might be speaking like, or after the date, do you expect him to kiss you, or do you expect her to kiss you, or how do you find what the kind of job that you expect him to be doing, or different kind of stuff that you already expecting and imagining in your life, or even you are already imagining the wedding. You are already figuring out where you want to hold the wedding. You are already figuring out different things in your mind. You are already having an expectation, because automatically having an intention leads to having an expectation, and that is automatic. And that's what important point that you need first to understand in dealing with yourself and also with others people, because everybody functions the same way. It is an automatic level of our human system. Now as you have the intention, clearly that is what motivates you now to go out, because you have a clear intention that, oh, I want to do this. Now your expectation is set that this is gonna be cold, this is gonna be this, blah blah blah, and then you decide to go out on dates. On the days, things might turn out to work pretty out well for you, or they might turn out to work as you didn't want them to work out. Now that is the outcome, how things turn out to be. Did you like the date? Did you like the guy or the girl? Was she or was he like exactly how you expected him to be or her to be? Those things are the outcome. The outcome is really sometimes different from the expectation. Sometimes it might meet your expectation, or sometimes might succeed your expectation, or sometimes it might be inferior to your expectation. And here comes the emotions. Because imagine if you go on a date with a guy, how do you feel happy? Why do you feel happy? You feel happy because you had something before in your mind, and that might be compliant with what just happened and just reaffirmed what you already imagined in your mind, or it might be even better than what you already imagined in your mind. That is what we call choices. Sometimes you make a choice and you live that choice. That is what also we refer to as a reality, which is something like alive. You already put that into your mind to be alive, and then you experience it. Now what happened here is you are content with the decision that you made, that create a sense of happiness or a sense of satisfaction. That is where you have an emotion, satisfaction, and that feels so good, that feels so amazing. But the opposite is when the guy or the girl is not meeting your expectation that you set up before the date. Now here, what do you feel? You feel disappointed. Oh, this guy, I hope that he was better. I hope she was more better than she was. But you found out he was or she wasn't what you hoped or expected he or she to be. Now, what happens? You also have a terrible emotion, which is what? Disappointment. Now, hear me clear. This is nothing to do with the reality. And here we have outcome which is equal to reality. You see? Here in the reality segment of our life, we don't necessarily always see the reality. What we see is rather our expectation to reality. Our expectation to reality, which conduct us to interpret the reality in a very specific way. Right here, based on your expectation, you see what happened, maybe as good as bad, because you already pre-valued what is going to happen, and then when it's happened, you are already automatically judging it before it's happening, or even after it's happened, you already judging what is happening. Here your expectation is disassociating the reality that is happening. Ladies and gentlemen, this is truly important, because when you set a goal, it might be starting a business, or it might be studying, or it might be doing something, you already feel in your mind it's gonna be a certain way. Now, as it's not going that way, you are feeling disappointed, and then you translate or you interpret what is going on as if a battle. You interpret it in your mind because of what you already thought it's gonna be, right? Now, here is why it's important to understand this thing first, and I hope it is clear enough, because we have to look at them very clearly. So here you have this diagram which show the desire, the intention, the expectation, the outcome, the emotion, and the reality is really different from whatever you feel. And you know what? Your emotion don't tell anything about the reality. Your emotion rather tell you how you feel about the reality. Your emotion just tell you something about you, not about the reality. Your reality is really different from whatever is happening. For example, right now as I'm speaking, you are interpreting whatever I'm saying according to however you interpret it, according to whatever you expect in your mind. Now, how do you disassociate yourself from your expectation to see the reality? That is what important, and that is how you keep going in life, and that's how you keep enjoying your life. Because if you're not able to disassociate yourself from your expectation, you're not going to live a life, because you're always going to live life maybe disappointed or maybe sometimes content. But there is a state that you can go out life just not feeling so emotional about things. We are emotional beings. It's important to feel emotions. We have emotion that play really important roles. We cannot be robots. We have emotions. That is why we need to understand how we disassociate ourselves from our expectation that are causing those emotion that stop us sometimes from doing whatever we need to do, or that are important for us, that can make us happy over the long term, because that is the point, because we want to be happy over the long term of our life. Or even now as you're watching this video, maybe you want to be happy, then you can start being happy now. That's what you're gonna see. Now here you need to understand first clearly what is the desire you are trying to satisfy by having by having an intention and all this. Well, it might seem like a hard work, but it is not. It's really simple. You can do this. You can do this now as I'm speaking. First, you also need to watch the first video on the human system as to understand the really grand category of a love that's governing our experiences. Then as you understand it, you understand where is the desire coming from. As a relationship, of course we need relationships, we need family, we need all that. It's important, you cannot avoid it. Then as you understanding where is the relationship or the desire is coming from, which is the under the category of relationships, then you understand, okay, I'm trying to satisfy this side of my life. Now automatically you do have expectation out of each segment. Now where is that expectation is coming from? Is it yours? Who told you that expectation? Who taught you that expectation? Where did you get the expectation from? Because if you haven't experienced anything, or if you haven't heard about anything, how could you expect it? Imagine, for example, I'm telling you about my country, right? And I just mentioned the name of my country to you. Imagine you have never heard anything about my country, you have never known anything about my country. What could you possibly imagine? I think nothing. Of course, I could guide you to imagine things about my country by introducing you things about my country into your mind, and then you can create a distorted picture of my country into your mind, which might not be real. That's how you also make expectations that are not real. Expectations are not real, are just fabricated in your mind according to what someone has told you, has taught you to choose or to expect from something. And they might not do it consciously, it is unconsciously. Everybody will do it, as I'm also doing it now. Now, what you need to understand is first that your expectation is not real. But it is okay. We all have expectations. Of course, I make this video, I'm expecting you to watch it, so that is an expectation. But how can I disassociate myself from that expectation? By first understanding that the reality might be that nobody watches this video. Nobody cares. Who is going to care about the video? That is the reality. Now, if someone watches it, if someone watches it, that's also the reality. The reality is natural. The reality doesn't depend on me. The reality is just the reality. I cannot force someone to watch this video. Likewise, you cannot force something to happen, but you can just do what you intend to do to satisfy the desire you have, which is I'm making this video to satisfy my desire of teaching you to understand about the human system, and then let the outcome play out however it's gonna play out. But it's really tough to let the outcome play out however it's gonna play off, because we're always trying to control things. And this is where I have the good news for you. This is where you don't give up, because in case I don't have any view on this video, what do? Well, this is where you need to see the reality. The reality is just, okay, maybe this video sucks. Maybe I'm talking too fast, or maybe I'm not speaking a good English, or maybe I'm not just good to whatever I'm telling you. Now what do? I just need to examine the reality and interpret the reality again to see, okay, maybe I should, make the lights more like this, or maybe I should do it like this, or maybe I should do it this way. And then you see the reality, you use the reality to try again, because you already had an expectation that I had an expectation that someone needs to watch this video, and the outcome is different from my expectation. But my expectation differing from the outcome is creating an emotion which is also different from the reality. Then what do I need to do? I have to use that emotion as something about my expectation, that my expectation is not met or it is met. In case it is not met, then the reality is different from what I expected of the reality. Now what do I have to do? I have to use my emotion, which is maybe disappointment, to analyze what I've done wrong, or what I didn't do right, or what is there I need to learn. Then use it in my favor to do it better, in order to try to meet my expectation. That is really simple. Well, it needs time, it takes time. You have to try. That's why people say whenever you succeed, you have to fail. The failure is coming from trying to bend reality at your will. You try, reality don't come out like you want, and then you try it again in different way, because you have a different outcome, you have a different data. That data is important for you to use as to try to meet your expectation, because sometimes your expectation is what you think is going to make you happy. That is why we are so much after the expectation. We are so much after that lady that we want to date. We are so much after that guy that we want to date. We are not after that guy, we are after our expectation of them, and we are hoping that our expectation once made makes us happy. We are hoping when that girl speak exactly the way we want them to speak, it's going to make us happy. But it doesn't depend on them, it depends on what we are expecting of them. But when we erase what we are expecting of them, then whatever they say automatically make us happy. Well, I don't I don't assume that everything that people say will make you happy, but you understand the underlying principle here, which is what your expectation set how you feel about things. Now, when you raise your expectation, now you don't necessarily clearly delete your expectation. It is not quite possible. You just need to understand it, where it is coming from, and set it apart, and not let it run out of your actions, because you want to achieve something that is important to you, which is your own expectation. So why do you let that expectation stop you from achieving the expectation? That's why you need to let the expectation aside and use the reality in your favor, because the reality is telling you something that you need to try. Let's say you use your calculator and you do I'll really quickly clean this. You use your calculator and you do like this: 2 plus 2, and then it come out to be 3. Well, that is not quite right, but this is the reality that show up. Then it's telling you that you need to fix your calculator, or that you need to get a new calculator. There is something must be definitely wrong with your calculator, right? It doesn't mean that you are not smart. It just means that you need to fix your calculator. That's how it is. If you're using a method that is not working, it doesn't mean that you're not smart. It means that you need to change method, because you are more than the method. You are not the method. The method is part of you, but it is not you. That's why you need to just change method. Now, the final point I want to make here, which is also about emotion importantly, it is whenever you are feeling, well, once again, I'm trying to draw you, hoping that you will look more beautiful this time. Okay, beautiful mouth. Oh, so beautiful. All right. So whenever you hear, right, I assume this is your past, this is your past, and this is your future. In this, all right, I'm gonna name this you. Really simple. And you here in the middle, in the present. In the past, when you are feeling afraid, you are living in the past, fear. And in the future, when you are feeling, when you are feeling not afraid, I just mismatched this clearly. When you are feeling regrets, you are living in the past. When you are feeling afraid, fear, you are living in the future, because we don't regret things that are not happening yet. You don't regret tomorrow. Tomorrow is not here yet. So tomorrow is not here yet, but you fear tomorrow, how tomorrow is gonna be, how tomorrow is or how the date's gonna be. That is an anticipation, and you are afraid of it. You are anxiety. You have anxiety about it. But past is already past. You regret, I have done this, I should have gone on that date. You are not learning from it. You have to go, okay, that's fine, it's past, I cannot get it back. That's why we call it past. Now, what is inside this that I can use? And you analyze it, and you pack the data, and you use it into your favor. Now this is where you get tricky. Based on the past data, you're using the past data to try to anticipate the future, which might also cause you to be afraid, because you don't know what the next date gonna be like, because I don't know what the next video gonna turn out to be like. If people gonna put some shitty comment out there, or if people gonna like it, I don't know. So I'm afraid, because I don't know what's gonna happen, and I regret because I didn't have what I wanted to happen. Now, here in the present, do you know what happens? You're feeling grateful. how many times do you feel grateful in life? How many times? Honestly, how many times do you feel grateful in your life? How many times do you feel present and just feel grateful? Just feel like I'm grateful for everything I have. Doesn't mean that I'm satisfied with everything, but I'm grateful for everything I have in my life, and I truly feel grateful. It's not about saying the word, but it's about feeling it. It's about living in the emotion of gratitude. How many times in your life, or how many times in the day, do you feel like that? Well, you might be feeling afraid sometimes, or you might be feeling regretful, or you might feel anxious, all that because what, we don't live in the present. We are always living in the past or in the future. Now, this is an interesting point. I have a really interesting courses coming on running to build a mental clarity, and that is truly important for you to learn how to disassociate yourself from the past and the future. Important in order to live in the present. And now this is actually cost free for you. Of course, you're gonna try the first days, and I'm just putting out there to help my fellow friends to live in the present and have the clarity to achieve their goals in business, in relationship, in whatever they want. And if you're interested, visit my website chriskobe.com, and you can see what I have to offer to you, and I hope you love it, because this has been an amazing tool that helped me to overcome some mental struggle. Of course, I do have some of them, and I'm still using the same tool to overcome my stuff that I have to overcome. And it is amazing because it allows you not only to be in good shape and be fit, but also gain mental clarity and work consistently on your goals. And in case if you're interested, visit my website chriskobe.com to try it out. It's completely free. You have nothing to pay for it, so I'm just giving it for free. Well, I hope you understand something about today's video about the diagram that control our emotions. And also, if you didn't fully understand the principle, I recommend you to watch the first video that I mentioned earlier, which is the human system, and then you can come back to rewatch this video and understand the follow. Also, in case you are interested and you like this video, please subscribe and keep this hit the subscribe button and like this video. Send it to your friends, send it to someone that you hope that video also might help, and let's see how it turns out. And I would also like to hear from you. What do you think? What is the most common emotion that you experience in every day of your life? Is it about great gratitude? It is a fear? It is a regret? What do you experience the most? Yeah, I would like to hear from you. Thank you for your time, and I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope you continue working on your dreams and keep pushing on your goals, because I believe you can do it, and I believe you have the tools. You just need to understand it's not that you cannot do it, but it is like reality sometimes differ from whatever you expect, and then you can disassociate yourself from your expectation and try it again. It's gonna work out. So I believe in you. I hope you keep going. Thank you.